Sangat Ji, welcome to the Kirtan Fi Podcast. In this episode, we have a four-way conversation with the young and upcoming Jatha based in the UK by Bhai Harmanpreet Singh, Sukhmanpreet Singh and Gursharan Singh. You will be able to hear their debut album release titled Dilho Muhabat at kirtanfi.com/93, available on all streaming platforms. In this podcast, we got to discuss their childhood growing up in the UK and the challenges they faced, such as bullying, and how they dealt with it. Also how they met and formed their Jatha, life outside and inside of Kirtan, as well as some really funny things that have happened along the way. Please forgive us for any mistakes and drop a like and comment with feedback, and please share the link to help grow this podcast. Here is the Jatha. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sangat Ji, we're here with Bhai Harmanpreet Singh, Sukhmanpreet Singh and Gursharan Singh. Riji, do you want to start off and then we'll just go around this table?
Sure.
Sukhmanpreet Singh, tell us about your childhood.
Yeah, in terms of childhood, for me and Harman, we are brothers, Sakhe Bhra, and we came from India around 2010.
Really?
Yeah, so that was around 13, 14 years ago.
But you speak so well, like I wouldn't have never thought that. No offense, but like,
thank you. So we came and it was a huge transition. We did not know what we were getting into because we initially thought, and we were told actually, that we were just going for a holiday, for like a month's holiday.
Yeah.
So here's us, like really gassing it in front of our schoolmates, like, oh, we're going to the UK for a month, we're going to visit this and that.
And then you never come back.
You won't believe it because we came around December time, and in April they have their exams and stuff.
Yeah.
So we packed all our books, all of our pens, all our stationery, packed everything with us in our techia, assuming that we'd be able to study abroad, and then when we
wait. So you go on holidays and you take your books with you?
No. Yeah, but the thing is,
does anybody see anything wrong with that picture? Like,
yeah, again, so we did that and got to the airport. Security guys like, yeah, there's too much weight in here. Mom opens the techi and there's so much. It's spilling with like books, stationery, and all of that. Yeah, and Mom looked at us like, yeah, we're getting rid of this because you're not coming back. And that moment, we're like, we realize we are actually going to the UK for good.
Yeah.
And again, huge transition at quite a young age, but slowly settled into school. Eventually started doing Kirtan. I mean, it really helps that, my dad and even my thais, they're all involved with, something to do with Kirtan. They're Granthis, they're really good Kirtaniye.
Wow, okay.
And even my dad, he does really sweet Kirtan. And so, we had that sort of influence from him to begin with.
Yeah.
That was essentially the start of it all, and that's that transition. We'll probably give more details about the transition, but
yeah,
that's what it is.
So you're the youngest of three brothers?
Three brothers, yes. Yeah.
You're the youngest, right?
I'm
So Harmanpreet Singh, you're middle?
Middle, yes.
Middle, okay. Yeah, so basically, you're the hand-me-down, and then you're the one who gets spoiled, right? Like,
I'm the hand-me-down because
you're the hand-me-down. Okay,
for some reason, I ended up getting all of the second.
All the old clothes, all the old toys, everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Up until you outgrew them.
Yeah, exactly. But so that transition was quite heavy.
Yeah.
At such a young age, even our parents did not know how to handle it in terms of even the kids, because they were doing that. They were experiencing it for the first time as well.
Yeah.
So we came here and transitioned to a completely different sort of school environment, completely different sort of neighborhood, streets. Even the houses looked different. Everything was different. But yeah, it took some time to get used to, but we got into it.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And so Harmanpreet Singh, so like, what was that transition like for you? Because obviously you would have been older than Sukhmanpreet Singh. So how was that for you? Like, obviously being a bigger brother. And like,
yeah. So when I came here, I genuinely find it very difficult and confusing. I actually had no idea what's going on around me, because as Sukhman mentioned already, everything was different. The neighborhood's different. The education system is so different.
Yeah.
We are not mentally prepared to be living in a country or, leaving India, and all of a sudden now you have to make a life here in the UK.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a very challenging aspect of that, just not being prepared at all. So that was tricky to get my head around, I think. And not just myself, it was everyone in our family that really struggled with that aspect. On one side, we were very happy that now we were finally with our dad, because he was already here in the UK, and I think he was here for like at least 5-6 years, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so
right, okay.
so he was here working, providing for the family back home in India.
What work did you do?
So my dad, he was a head granthi at Ramgarhia Gurdwara.
Oh,
Which
right.
is
Okay.
like two roads down from here.
Oh,
Yeah,
in
it's not too-
Birmingham.
in Birmingham,
Yeah,
Graham
Oh,
Street.
right. Okay.
Jesus,
Okay. Oh, a small one.
So
Okay,
he was the
yeah.
head granthi there for a couple of years, and then of course we joined him, and I think that's the bit we were most excited about.
Yeah.
Just being with our dad, because I remember every time he did go to India on holidays and stuff, we'd be super excited to see him and spend time with him. So the thought of living with him was very, I think, fascinating, and we really enjoyed that time. But at the same time, it was quite difficult. There's so many different changes that we had to adapt to and accommodate for. So we got through it, I think.
Yeah.
That's mainly due to going to like camps, SNA camps.
Yeah.
That's where actually we all met.
Right.
Yeah. So we met through mutual friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started going to camps together and started doing Kirtan holi. And all चीज़ां जिद्दां से करते गए वो मन लगी गया
Yeah.
over time.
SSA camp, which one is that one?
SNA,
Oh, S&A.
Sikh
Okay.
Naujawan
Shout
Academy.
out Gyani Sukha Singh.
Gyani Sukha
Oh,
Singh.
Gyani
Ji.
Sukha Singh Ji's one.
Ji.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Sikh
yeah.
Naujawan
Oh, the
Academy.
OG. Yeah,
I know
yeah.
it's Sikh Naujawan Academy actually. That's what it stands
okay.
for.
That still
And,
happens every year, right? Is that
August time. That's what
Yeah,
happens.
so some holidays they do.
Gurharai Gurdwara side,
Mm.
no?
Multiple,
They do
there's
multiple
South
gurdwaras.
Birmingham,
Oh, okay.
Gurhara Gurdwaras, Wolverhampton as well.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
So that was our summer for, I'd say, at least 5 years, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Every summer, we'd spend the summer just going to
Yeah.
those camps
Yeah.
and just chilling together. And I think that's where we've built such a strong rapport between each other, and we've built that connection. So I think a lot of credit goes to that. Going to camps together, taking part in Kirtan competitions and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how we've sort of gelled together.
Amazing. I before we move on to Gursharan Singh, just one thing that, like, you know, that transition of you moving away from, obviously coming from India and then coming into the UK at such a young age and then transitioning into the school period. I mean, one thing I'm sure we've all seen, like lately, there's a lot of bullying going on. It seems to be a lot more exacerbated, obviously, just probably because of what's going on in the world right now and just the polarization of people generally. Which is unfortunate. But like, how did you guys find that? Like, were you guys bullied when you guys were kids? Like, you know, transitioning across, because you must have had an accent as well, and then people must have been
Can I
bullying
tell you
you.
one thing, by the way? You probably did not know this. Gursharan had the exact same story. He's also from India.
No way.
So
I thought, okay, we'll
yeah,
come on to
yeah.
you in a second, bro.
So the questions you're asking, they
Yeah.
apply to literally all three.
Oh,
of us.
okay, amazing.
So they don't
Okay.
apply to just
In that
normal-
case, then let's move over to Gursharan Singh.
Yeah,
Tell
yeah,
us about your
exactly.
story, and then
I
we'll
thought
go on
you
to the
would,
bullying
yeah.
thing, because I think it'd be interesting to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm born in India as well.
Okay.
I come from a pind called Kotubebal,
Right.
which is it's quite a funny one. It's quite a funny name.
I've never heard that one, to be honest.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
being silent, but I was
Exactly.
gonna like.
Exactly. I was saying to Sokon earlier, imagine there was an artist from that pind and you had to go with your pind name. I don't think you'd go very
Gursharan Singh
far.
Kutbe wale.
Kotubebal.
Kutbe wale.
But yeah, and then I had my nanny's town was Machhiwada, where we've got the Charan Kamsa Gurdwara.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where
yeah.
Guru Gobind Singh Ji went after Chamkaur.
Yeah.
And so we had a very deep connection with that place because we would spend our summers there.
Yeah.
And I think I had picked up tabla just a bit earlier on. I tried to learn in my local gurdwara in my local pind,
Hanji.
but the teacher was saying that I was actually too young because I was only like 7 years old. So he wouldn't teach me because of that.
Really?
And funnily
Okay.
enough, there was actually a tabla in my house
Right.
that my cousins would then take to learn.
Right. Okay.
And I would be just sat there like. not
How old
being able
were
to
your
play.
cousins?
They were much older, so
okay.
I don't know, like 5-6 years.
So it wasn't just a case that
Older.
Gani that just didn't like you. It was like, you know, it was actually
Yeah.
just an age restriction.
Yeah, he was like, you're too little. Anyway,
Oh.
then I think, so the next summer after that, that's when I was at Charan Kamsa again.
Wow.
Just spending that summer with Manani Ji. And so that month, she then introduced me to the Ajaib Ghar there, which is like a sort of community center. You have a museum, but then you also have classes, etc.
Right.
So they'll teach you like different instruments and stuff. And the people who teach there are actually the tabla players and the kirtanis for the local gurdwaras in the town.
Oh, okay.
There's multiple gurdwara.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So yeah, one day we just went, and it was quite funny because we got to the reception, and the main guy was like, "Oh yeah, I'll take you to the stars. Yeah, I'll introduce you," because it wasn't class time.
Yeah.
And I think this must have been quite early morning because we had to wake up the ustads. The ustads, वो बेचारे सुत्ते पे सी. वो कमरे च, and the receptionist, I don't know, he was quite a blunt guy as I knew it. knocked on and just sort of, knocking isn't even a thing, to be honest, in our culture. You just kind of walk straight in.
Just walk straight in.
ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਅੰਦਰ ਗਏ ਆ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਸਿੱਧਾ ਅੰਦਰ ਗਏ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਧਰੋਂ ਉਸਤਾਦ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਕਸ਼ਹਿਰੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਨੇ ਹਲੇ ਉਹ ਹਲੇ ਬੈਠ ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ and they're barely doing fatih. They're like, what concept? Receptionist ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਤਬਲਾ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸਿਖਾ ਦਾਂਗੇ ਬਸ ਹੁਣ ਚੈਨ ਦੀ ਨੀਂਦ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਸੌਣ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ
ਸੌਣ ਤੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਸਿਖਾ ਦਾਂਗੇ.
So yeah, I initially then started attending the class there, but I fell in love with it just so much that I started coming to the 𝗖𝗛𝗦𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗦 outside of the class.
Right.
And so it got to a point where I was just like, I'd get up, I don't know, 6, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that anymore. 6, 7 a.m. you'd get up and I would just go to the Gurdwara. I'd just walk to the Gurdwara myself.
Yeah.
And then I'd just spend the whole day with the ustads because I just loved it. And so throughout we would just chill. We'd go to the Gurdwara. The Gurdwara is very historic, obviously. So we just spent a lot of time just learning a lot of things. And I think at that point, because they must have been, the youngest out of those stars must have been like, I don't know, 17 years old or something, going up towards like mid-20s, and I was just this 8, 9-year-old.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot to pick up, there was a lot to learn and see, okay, I'm passionate about tabla, and so are these guys, but they've got the experience, so how does their lifestyle fit around that sort of thing? But yeah, eventually I was very dedicated for that month, and at the end they were so impressed with my dedication that they refused to take any fees for the classes.
Wow.
So my nanny came at the end and she was like, oh, I thought jari pet aaya. And there was multiple ustads and they were like, no, we're not having it. He's too dedicated. So yeah, and right after that actually is when I came up to the UK. So spent that month there, only had a month of tabla in India pretty much, then came to the UK.
So you would have been how old?
I would have been 9.
9 years old. So yeah, you're roughly around the same ages then.
Exactly. Yeah. So I pretty much came a year before these guys.
Yeah.
So that was that, and the journey here was quite
Did you pack your books and stuff like these guys?
Right? No, we packed extra jarab, man.
You knew what to expect.
Exactly. I think my dad later said, he was like, when I saw my family is walking up and we're all like double coats, double trousers and all of that. We came in the winter.
Yeah.
I was like, who are these polar bears? Do you know what I mean? But after that, yeah. So my dad was a Granthi Singh in a Gurdwara for many years.
Wow.
As I said, the stories are very similar.
Yeah,
exactly.
So which Gurdwara Sahib is this?
So he initially was at Guru Har Rai Gurdwara actually. He was the head Granthi there, and then he moved to Dudley. So Dudley was where we initially came.
Right.
And then we only stayed there for about 1 or 2 months. Again, started school there, very new.
Wow.
Then ended up moving all the way to Bradford.
Right, okay.
So
is that where you live now then, Bradford?
नहीं जी हाले कहानी मुक्कदी नहीं ना हाले Bradford तो हाले शुरू ही है. So he did seva at 2 different Gurdwara in Bradford, and then again the family would move with that. Then we moved to Stoke afterwards.
Right.
We then moved twice in Stoke to 2 different Gurdwara. Eventually bought a house there for ourselves. Lived there for about 7-8 years.
Yeah.
And now we are finally in Rugeley, which no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, where is Rugeley?
It's just north of Wolverhampton.
Yeah. Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that brings us to the
wonderful.
present.
And siblings is just yourself or?
Niji, I've got a younger sister. She's a year younger, and then I've got a younger brother who's actually 9 now, like right now.
Oh wow!
So when he complains, I have a lot to tell him about the old days.
All right, so I guess back onto that conversation about bullying then. So obviously you through all 3 of you literally came from India roughly around the same time. You went into the schooling system. How was that? Start with you, Vijay.
Okay. I didn't actually get admission until like 2 months in. So I think Harman started school pretty much straight away. But I just sat around at home just looking at my ceiling, not knowing what to do. So as soon as I got admission, I went into year 5, I think. Yeah, midway year 5. So think about it. So year 5 has already started, and 4 months later I come. So I have to I got chucked in the deep end like straight away. So getting there, like seeing Gore teachers for the first time, Gore classmates. It's very, very different, really different sort of environment. Not knowing the language at all. Someone asked, do you speak English? I couldn't even say a little bit. I could not even say that. So I just had to either shake my head or just do this. So I went home the same day. So after the first day of school, I went home. I was like, Dad, teach me one thing. How do I actually say ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਾੜੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਥੋੜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ
ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ.
Okay, so he was nice enough to teach me like a little bit, the phrase little bit, and then I remember that was probably the first phrase I learned here. So I was able to tell people I know a little bit, and that's just hello, hi, how are you doing, and goodbye, and just that sort of level. But it was really different. And bringing it back to bullying, initially I think everyone in the class was just confused. You know, why is this person looking like that, first of all, with the jula, right, with the gutti, and secondly, joining in the middle of the year. If it was at the start of the year, it'd be a different story. But joining in the middle of the year, when there's, you know, exams about to happen and stuff like that, so it was really different. Initially, everyone was just really weirdly formal, but then soon after, they started to show some sort of signs of bullying, like keep me, you know, outside, for example, to keep me away from the groups, etc. But I just did not know like what to do in that sense. Obviously, we'd come home and like just speak to our parents and stuff, but they were also experiencing something like that for the first time.
In the workplace.
No, as in they weren't experiencing bullying, but they were experiencing their kid go through that for the first time.
I see.
Because us in India, you know, we loved Indian schools. We were really chilling there. So the idea of their kid not being confident in school, not being, you know, happy with the environment in school, it was very different for them. So just tried our best to overcome it, but it ended up happening. But yeah, I think I got into like a few fights as well because of it during school. It got messy, as it would, but things got a lot better when I started focusing on just the education part. Because I said, okay, I need to, like, the social side of it, that will come eventually, but I need to focus on this education part as well, because that's what I'm here for. So as soon as that aspect started to rise, then eventually that brought in a lot more friends, and I was able to, you know, form a bigger friend group, and all of that did subside over time. But it was a long journey. It was difficult. Like, you know, say going on a sort of school trip and being the only person in the coach, not knowing who to sit with, where to sit, potentially sitting alone. So it was really isolating. It was quite daunting at times. But I don't think I'd change it in any sort of way, because it was all part of that learning curve. And it taught a lot.
So the way that you dealt with it, from what you're saying, it sounds like you basically just put your head down and studied, and then people saw that you were clever. And
you just put your head down, get on with it. But that's the best sort of strategy I had, in my opinion. I think by year 8, year 9, things really leveled out, and people that, so my primary school and secondary school are like 2 roads apart. So you usually, what would happen is from that primary school, people would go to that secondary school where I ended up going. So a lot of my classmates from the primary school ended up going to the same secondary school. So as soon as I started getting good grades, you know, a lot of merit from the teachers in the school, they started asking for help. So the same people that would, you know, bully me and laugh at me, etc., they started asking for help. Oh, Sukhmanpreet, are you available after school? Like, can you help me with this question, this and that?
Do my homework for me.
So I had to like gain that sort of respect in that sort of way. So, you know, as soon as they start respecting you in that sort of sense, you know, there's no going back. So there was no chance of being bullied again after that. And that was the case. So, you know, didn't experience it afterwards, but up to the point of year 8 and year 9 is it's slightly difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine. Is that the same experience for you?
So I'll just echo everything that Sukhman has said. I didn't go to a primary school here, so I went straight into a secondary school, which was quite difficult for me, especially the language barrier being the main reason, right? Not speaking the language, I think that's one of the most difficult things that I'd say I've overcome during that time period. I remember my classmates laughing at me for not being able to pronounce my English teacher's name, which was really upsetting at that time.
What was his name?
I think it was like Mr. Gallagher or something.
Oh, okay.
But at that time, I had no idea.
Teacher.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I know Mr. Gallagher.
Yeah, exactly. So the funny thing though is, what shocks me is the people who were laughing at me, they were apane. So they weren't gore, they were apane. So I think that was a bit, I was taken aback. I was like, you know what?
That's quite strange, actually.
If apane are not, you know, helping you out and they're laughing at you instead, then what do we expect from anyone else? So that's one thing that I just remembered when Sukhman was just talking about his experience. So that's one, I remember exactly where I was standing actually. That's been very difficult, but I think at the time we were very dedicated to do well. And the reason for that is because we knew and valued education. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਉੱਥੇ the education system there in India, right, is very, very different from what it is here.
Yeah.
So when we came here to the UK and started going to school and stuff, them giving out like something like water bottles during exams, right? I don't know for you guys, but I was like, you know what, this is amazing. That they're giving you free water bottles. And in India, you don't get that. So I think we appreciated even the littlest of things when we came to the UK.
Yeah.
So I am very grateful that I got to spend the first few years of my life in India, because I think I am a better person for it, and also I'm grateful for the things that I have currently, which I might not have been grateful for if I was born here. So you know, when you don't have something, or फिर जो चीज़ नहीं होती होती फिर कदर ज़्यादा पैंदी. Yeah, so
it was quite you know, really sort of difficult phase in the sense that I remember this really vividly, by the way. I go to school about 4 weeks later, right? Again, 4 weeks after I joined. And we were meant to go to a field trip at some sort of museum in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And the teacher must have apparently told everyone to bring in the £2 coin that I think they wanted you to bring as like a just fees, right?
Yeah.
Like a charge. And I didn't bring my £2 coin because I didn't realize what she was saying the day before. So I go into the class and I see everyone hold a Dilho Muhabat in their hands. And I'm sitting there like, okay, you know, I'm not going to go. I won't be getting on that minibus, right? So the teacher starts doing everyone's attendance. So, you know, primary school, we all sit down on the floor.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like, and the teacher is not even asking for the £2. Have you bought your £2? She's not asking that question, right? So she's literally just shouting people's names. Are you present? So Ben, are you present? Parminder, are you present? You know, Rachel, are you present? And everyone's like, yes, yes. So I'm assuming that they're saying Dilho Muhabat. Right? So I'm
Jesus, like,
so I'm thinking that obviously they have their £2, so they're saying yes because they got the £2. That's what I thought, right?
Yeah.
So this was literally me looking around the room, not understanding anything, right?
Yeah.
So Sukhmanpreet, I'm like, I'm not here.
You're sat there.
I'm not present. And she looked at me like, yes, you are. She was like, yes. And I was like, no. I was like, I don't have it. And then she was like, okay. Then she continued to the next person. As soon as she told me I was present. But then afterwards she said, okay. Then she realized, okay, where's the money? But my point being, I did not even understand something as little as, you know, when they would call for their attendance. So being in that sort of situation, yes, it's funny when you think about it afterwards, but in the moment, for a person that's 10, 11, can be really embarrassing because
100%.
the whole class will look at you and laugh like you're saying no, that you're not here.
Yeah.
Like, it's really absurd, right? But yeah, really sort of, again, really deep end, got chucked into the deep end, not knowing what to do, how to communicate, how to present yourself, etc. Very difficult sort of phase though.
Me and Sukhman would walk to our school together. So so as Sukhman said, his primary school and the secondary school that he was at were very nearby. And we'd walk to our school together, and he'd just stop at his primary school, of course, and I'd carry on. Yeah. I remember just walking. I don't know if you remember, but
the alleyways.
There were like a bunch of students from our school who would chuck stones at us.
Oh God! Okay.
Yeah, they would chuck patthar, you have to say this. It was a very difficult time. Like, they forced us to say things which are, of course,
like against Sikh
and stuff.
Oh wow!
So we raised this with the school. But funnily enough, what they said to us was, "Tusi school badalo."
They just leave the school.
Yeah, they're like,
school's response was,
they're like, just
schools.
Yeah, can they just change your schools? It was unfortunately, we can't really do much about it. But again, I think at the time we thought we just had to accept and tolerate what was going on.
Yeah.
And we just had probably the hope that one day things will get better.
Yeah.
And I think, as Sukhman mentioned, as we started doing well in year 9, 10, 11. We just made more friends.
Yeah. Is that the similar experience for you, Gursharan, then as well?
Yeah, very similar. One of the most important things that Harman's pointed out was the bullying we got from apne, because with my experience, it's that which I remember more of, and I think it was because more of that actually occurred than anything else.
You don't really expect it, I guess, as you said.
Yeah, it's really
very ironic.
And plus the other thing was, because as a family we lived within the Gurdwara, so we were just known as the Granthis kids, who were just like very odd, have come from India don't really know anything, that sort of thing. So we were generally looked upon, like down upon all the time.
Yeah.
And that would obviously, that was in action as well. So people would try to stay away from us or call us names, call us freshies, this and that. That was, that's what I remember as the bullying part. But in terms of school, I don't think it was as bad for me. Yeah. And there could have been multiple reasons for it. So when we were in school in Dudley, I think the people were just nicer in general. In Bradford, we had a lot of an Asian community anyway. So people were quite chilled, like people were quite familiar. And I remember in my primary school in Bradford, I'd brought my tabla in at one point.
Okay.
Because I have no idea, because there was no function, no nothing. I'm just getting a memory of me, like we're just sat down on the floor, like next to the classroom, and our teacher's explaining, oh yeah, this is Gursharan saying blah blah, yeah, he plays the tabla, and people have never seen this instrument before, and you've got a kid sat behind it who's just pretty much as big as the tabla itself. And so I got playing, and people were like, oh my god, this is so cool. So I guess I gained a bit of respect for that very early on. That's sort of what I got to be known for, alongside just us generally being very smart, because we come from India. Like we've already done that sort of content in that same year, that sort of thing. But one of the funniest stories of not knowing English that sticks with me now. I was in again one of the primary schools in Bradford. Yeah. And we had a lot of a Muslim community in there. So when it came to the lunches, the teachers had to keep a track of which students were fasting. So it was the students that didn't need lunch preparing for example. And I remember the teacher came in once and she took this register of the people who are fasting. And I didn't know much of English at that point, but all I recognized was the word fast.
Started running.
Exactly. I thought she was referring to, like, running.
A race.
Can any of you run fast?
Oh, okay.
Right, yes.
Keep your hand up.
And the funniest thing is, obviously, I noticed around the room, like, some people were putting their hands up, like others weren't, and I was like, yeah, that must be it. Like,
I am fast.
Most of the people aren't actually putting their hands up, and I started to raise my hand because I was the skinny, like, quick guy when I was younger, and I started to raise my hand, but I'm looking around for, like, validation. Like, I am fast, right?
Like
I am fast. And the funniest part is that a lot of the Muslim kids, I don't know, some of them might have confused me for a Muslim as well. So they were like, yeah. So, I got yes. So I put my hand up. The teacher taking this actual register was Gauri herself. So I think she was like, yeah, calm. If you're going to say it, then you're fasting.
Oh my
But then
God.
we had another staff member who was actually a Muslim herself. And I think she was familiar with Sikhs, etc. She then saw it, and she saw, like, obviously there's a tick next to my name. She comes into the classroom and starts having a go at me. She's like, why did you say yes to fasting? She was like, you're not even a Muslim.
Oh god.
And I was just like, what? I was like, what?
Yeah, but I am fast.
Yeah, exactly. But again, secondary school, a lot of that was in Stoke. Again, we had a quite a bit of an Asian community, but also quite a bit of white community, and the clashes tended to be between them and the Sikhs. Were sort of there was only like two of us actually in the whole school at that point. We were just sort of on the side. I guess we weren't troublemakers or whatever, or we just didn't get involved in that sort of thing. But in secondary school earlier on, because I was one of the first Sikhs there, the teachers had asked me to get involved in the RE lessons for the years above, and just tell people what Sikhi is, what it means to be a Sikh.
So they asked you to be the teacher.
Kind of,
Sounds like a cop out, to be honest.
I got a box of chocolates in exchange. That was pretty good salary. So that's what I started doing. I think from year 7 sort of onwards. I just went into different classrooms, and people would ask questions as well. But I guess through that, a lot of people got to know why I had a patka, why I keep my long hair, etc. Because before that, they would have no idea. Again, it's because I was one of the first Sikhs in the school. So I guess that helped sort of establish myself in the secondary school, which really helped.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate it. I can imagine it must have been quite a difficult time, especially in trying to remember that probably brings back some
even just thinking about it now as well, actually, you can just think of so many examples where you've experienced bullying. There's lots and lots, but we will be here all day talking about
that's
that.
fine.
What
For
about
another
you,
podcast,
actually?
maybe.
What about you? Did you have any bullying experience?
I mean, I definitely did. I mean, I literally the second brown person in the entire school, and then the only one with a bug. Or
Where was that?
a
Leicester?
Sick. That was Kingston Grammar School. Shout out to Kingston Grammar School. I guess. But yeah, it was interesting. I remember I actually took a tabla in one time as well. It was part of the music lesson. Yeah, it was part of the music lesson, and I used to learn from at Martindale Gurdwara, Guru Nanak Nishkam Jatha, back in Hounslow. And I took the tabla in one time, and then I was just talking them through and everything. And obviously everybody started laughing, and I was like, family friendly show, guys, family friendly show.
You set yourself up.
Yeah, I did set myself up, yeah. And I didn't think it, I didn't click. And then I also did a Gazka display as well in one of our drama classes. I think I was just trying to show off to all the police. So
they stayed away.
But the thing is that, because I also took Amrit as well, Gudi Kirpan, when I was like, I think about 12. So everybody knew I was like carrying Kirpan. So, and they just didn't say anything. After that, they were like, yeah, stay away from this guy. So and not obviously I wasn't like that kind of person. But like, of course. They were just respectful. But
that actually, the Kirpan raised quite a few issues for us as well, because we were still in primary school at that point. And the staff were very concerned that children at such a young age were carrying something
so did
like
you
that.
guys take Amrit at quite a young age?
I did. I took it when I was 11.
Wow, okay, really good.
But at that point, it was quite a challenge, and like actually convincing the staff to let us carry the kirpan. And I think eventually they agreed that it was to be completely wrapped to the point where you couldn't use it.
Right.
Yeah, it was quite
pointless.
Against back the then principle. Anyway, like
but you're a kid.
Yeah,
you're a kid anyway. So the family was fine with it, and I think that was the only way they were going to let us. Obviously, there's a lot more awareness about it now.
Yeah,
but over 10 years ago, there was.
But like back then, the Taksali ones that you used to get anyway, like they were pretty blunt. Like they're literally, you couldn't even spread butter with them. Like,
and a lot of them were so hard to take out in the first place.
But no, that's not that. No, okay, let me just hang on. Controversy. Get out, edit this out. No. Well, I didn't mean that from like specific. I mean, this typical style Taksali ones that you get, like with the curved blades, and then the like, the gold ones, the super silver ones, and shiny stuff. And the ones with the bolts at the end, they're really the really cheap ones,
the
right?
hexagon,
not like the full Soblo ones.
That one
not
those for me so much.
Not the Soblo ones. I mean, like literally the ones with the bolts and the fixtures and stuff. Like, and then those literally just like blunt. Are they? Like, I don't know why. Anyway, we digress. So you're studying now, right?
Yeah. So me and Gursharan, I'll answer it for him. We both do aeronautical engineering. We're doing a master's in them.
Oh, okay.
In Loughborough University.
So hang on. You guys, when did you guys actually meet then?
Around 2012.
Oh, that's a good one. We actually I met Sukhman at a mutual friend's house in
Surprisingly,
Birmingham.
he was like whacking away the tabla. Right?
Yeah, they had a tabla, so we were just messing. I don't know. Everything relates to tabla.
Honestly,
as it should.
And we were. They had a tabla there as well, and I think our mutual friends they were interested in learning and stuff too.
Right.
So I was just like smacking about. He knew them. I think he finished school at that point. I was on days off or something. Finished school. He came over to the house, and then that's when he was like, he witnessed me playing.
I walked in and I was like, whoa. You are also very young.
And then after that, you guys started seeing each other at the camp?
Directly after that.
So straight away, he was like, I have to introduce you to my brother.
Straight away, I was like,
that's nice.
So
and my dad was going to pick me up. So we had about 10-15 minutes to leg it to your house. Quickly, we introduced ourselves, and then we actually did one shabad.
Did we?
Just very quickly.
Really?
Yeah,
I think it was really, really formal at that time.
Yeah.
I think we were like, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. We were like so formal.
We were
at that
very
time.
formal.
Wow.
Because I guess we were all like settling in our own ways,
exactly.
and then we see company that actually is very similar.
Yeah. So how old were you guys then?
About 13.
13. So
when we met, we would have been 12, I think. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, 12.
Actually 12.
So we've definitely known each other for like at least 11 years, I think. We've been
at least
singing and doing Kirtan together.
I guess your dad's probably obviously linked up as well, because both
Yeah.
Granthis, innit? Like,
They know each other.
Again, having a really similar sort of childhood really helped that.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
I think Gagan was just someone we could relate to.
Yeah.
And that aspect of our connection that we have now is very, very important.
His nickname is Gagan.
Sorry.
Sorry. Told everyone is Gursharan, but we'll refer to him as Gagan.
So that connection that we have, I think it's purely because of being able to relate to him and his story, and being interested in sort of the similar stuff, like studies and making sure your professional life is also up there, as well as maintaining your passion for music. So all दोनों चीज़ां फिर ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਚ ਦੇਖੀਆਂ, we were like, okay, this is someone we can become friends with. And then after that we just started seeing each other regularly and going to
Yeah,
Kirtan
we-
programs, camps,
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
Oh, amazing. So then did you guys like know that you were going to both study aeronautical engineering?
No,
Or, like,
actually, I think.
did you plan it together?
That
Like,
was-
it was like, oh, let's
Yeah,
go
that was
study aeronautical engineering.
that ended up kind of being last minute, didn't it? Almost.
For me, it was so last minute.
Yeah.
I finished my GCSE. It was about time to choose my A levels, and I was like, okay, I like physics, I like maths, and I like planes. And I think Harman's friend, who's also my friend, Manny. Shout out to Manny. He had picked aeronautical engineering at some sort of, was it Liverpool?
Liverpool University.
You do have to tell them about your earlier career choice.
Yeah, I was going to mention. That's how the idea of aeronautical came about. But initially, I remember I wanted to become a chef.
Wait, what? Wait. You
I
can't
wanted
just
to
gloss
become-
over that point. Like, you wanted to become
I
a
said
chef.
that really quick for a reason. I don't know. It's just one thing I found, cooking, and I still do, very satisfying and in a way quite therapeutic. But and then I wanted to become a photographer for some whatever reason. And then
it's all fair.
yeah,
It's all fair,
100%. And then actuary
right, okay.
is because someone came to the Gurdwara and they told my dad कि मेरा मुंडा ते maths ਉਹਦੀ maths ਬੜੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੁਣ ਉਹ actually ਕਰਦਾ ਪਿਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਬੜੇ ਨੇ this and that. Dad came to me, he was like, whoa,
Right.
you should do life insurances, no offense, but so I want so for a few months I was like, okay, maybe I could explore that, and but then eventually I was like, okay, I like engineering, I like a technical sort of
So what do you like to cook?
quite a lot of things actually. I don't know where to start. I cook quite easy meals. I wouldn't say I do really like fresh
Like
meals.
beans and toast? Or like,
No, man, no. I'm actually
That's survival food. Exam
I'm
period,
really
beans and
put off
toast.
beans for a while now. But pasta, noodles, toasties, dal chol I can make,
Oh, okay.
rajma, chole, stuff like that.
Does he like make the roti home as well? Like,
Roti bhai thora khao hunda yaar roti.
Roti gold नहीं बनती ना
You just
पंगा
get frozen parathe from
Roti te
Tour
parathe
supermarket.
I remember like in Newcastle when I did my undergrad there, I'd buy a tortilla and just have that with the Sikh ke madi ji, because of course you can't make roti, right? But now I can cook as well. So
Harman
amazing,
makes
okay.
really good yellow dal.
I think thanks to my wife Manpreet, she's the one who's taught me how to cook properly.
Amazing, yeah.
अरे भाई मैं 2 हफ्ते हो गए नहीं ना. I went to Herman's in London.
Oh yeah,
And I get to his at like 12:30 at night because of coach or whatever, like really late sort of train. And I'm hungry, and this guy says ki main dal banayi, and I was like, what, you made dal? I've never heard of like you making dal from scratch. So I was like, oh mate, like I'm really hungry, but I probably don't want to eat a dal. I go home, right? I get to his छोटा जा कुकर एडा का होना है ना, पर इन्नी वधिया दाल बनाई ना.
You know what? It was actually one of my best dals I've ever made.
पर यो में मजा आ गया. It was really good.
I was very proud of them.
Yeah, that was good. That was
Well,
good.
shout out to your dal.
तू रोटी भी बनाई सी.
Oh yeah, I made roti as well.
No,
It was a bit
fulka
sucky
okay.
and had no
Yeah.
shape, but it was still
So it's fine.
That was very
It's the
good.
intention that counts. It's all
Yeah.
good.
exactly. सही गल है.
Oh, wonderful. So you're studying aeronautical engineering. I love both of you. And what's your career aspiration? I assume you then want to pursue a career in aeronautical engineering, right?
Yeah,
Working
so
on planes.
career aspiration to stick to the aviation industry because it's only going to get better and better. And there's a lot of gap in that industry. Obviously, I don't want to get into it. But hopefully becoming part of that gap. So, when there is opportunity to fill that gap, we're at the forefront of it.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Amazing. Is that the same for you, Gogan Singh, as well?
Yeah, similar. I want to get into more of the rocketry stuff, so it has changed over a period. I think my initial career choice was becoming a pilot in the RAF.
Oh, right, okay.
And then I just started to explore some of it. I had experiences at RAF Cosford, etc.
Oh, wonderful.
And got to ask around about how it all works, and then looked into more of the ethics of it as well. And I didn't really want to go down that route, but I still wanted to be a pilot, so I was like, why not do commercial? So that was my thing for some time. Then I started gliding just to get some experience on my hands. But yeah, after that, I developed an interest in actual like engineering, and specifically related to space. I became quite interested in helping in space exploration, or if not, one day hoping to be there myself, that sort of thing. And that's what led me to...
Mars just aim for the next astronaut, innit?
That's what... Then I sort of directed that. I took myself away from flying and wanting to become an airline pilot to an actual engineer.
Wow.
Because before that I was going to do physics at university, and then it was actually Sukhman that told me that a course like aeronautical engineering actually exists.
Yeah.
And that's
I
what
wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, you were.
I told you about aeronautical engineering.
Yeah, because before that, I was considering doing physics.
Crazy.
There's no way.
Wait, was there a time where you wanted to do French?
No. That was
for A levels.
That was for A levels.
A levels, right? Yeah, I remember
Why did you do
that.
French for A levels?
Because this was during the time that I wanted to become an airline pilot, and
Right.
for that,
Fine.
I don't think I even needed A levels for
Yeah,
that.
you
But I
didn't
was
need
going
that,
to do maths and physics anyway because those were my interests.
Yeah.
And then as a third, I thought I'd go with just a language again to help with that future career.
Sure.
But yeah, that changed very last minute as well.
So we were literally joking
Yeah, so when he
before
asked
this
that
podcast,
question, when he
about
asked
French,
that question,
yeah.
he really meant that.
Oh
What?
wow, okay. That makes sense now.
Yeah.
And Riji, you studied something before, but now you're doing dentistry?
Yeah, so I did physiological sciences at Newcastle for 3 years. And then now I'm currently doing dentistry, a fourth year dental student at KCL, King's College London.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I actually don't remember thinking about any other profession. So the earliest memories of me thinking about my career was just dentistry, really. I don't remember thinking about anything else, not medicine, nothing like that. But the deciding factor was, I think, in year 12, year 13, when we went to like lots of open days, did work experience, and I think I worked at a pharmacy for 4 months.
Oh, okay.
Hated it. I was like, never going to be a pharmacist.
It happens all the time.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So I was like, no, this is not it for me. So I just got more and more exposure. Met Dr. Gurinder Singh Ji Batale Wale, who's a Suri Ragi, and he's someone who we've followed quite a lot.
Yeah.
And he is one of the reasons why we're so interested in classical kirtan. And also by profession, he's a dentist.
Yeah.
So when we met him, I think in like 2014, I understood what dentistry is about. Just speaking to him about it just gave me an insight of what the profession is like, and then I just became more and more interested in it.
Wow,
and then,
okay.
So I've been wanting to do dentistry since then,
Yeah.
but couldn't get in straight away after sixth form due to UCAT entrance exams and issues like that, interview performance, all of that stuff. You know how competitive dentistry is.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have no option. So I applied like two times before doing my undergrad, which is the physiological sciences that I mentioned. So that was, I was like, I have no other option but to do an undergrad and then apply as a graduate student. And luckily it's worked out well, I think. This way I have like no regrets. Imagine if I just gave up back then and I was like, okay, you know what, man, I'll do something else.
It's really interesting, actually. Like, props to you for like persevering, because like, you know, you had a dream and now you're fulfilling it. Really good now. So like, you know, you put 3 or 4 years into a previous degree, and now you're obviously doing another 4 years with dentistry, and then plus another year with the registration thing. So
it wasn't fun doing my undergrad because it was something that I did not want to do. So imagine having
That's
to
hard.
study for something that you don't want to do.
100%.
And always at the back of your mind, when would I get that email to say, oh, you've received an offer to study dentistry? I think just having good support system around me just got me through that.
Okay, cool. And so we talked about your hobbies, which is cooking. That's your passion.
That's
You also do photography on the side, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Gursharan saying
aerial
like,
photography.
what's your hobby? I guess what do you do in your
At the
free time?
moment, hobbies like that, man. Damn, you work out like that.
We'll just say
But,
double then.
I sing in my own time. I
You
play
sing?
the guitar a little.
Oh, actually, no, I have seen your reels on Instagram.
Yeah,
right?
so
Okay.
that's what fills my time. Then I like to get involved with learning history, etc. Otherwise, just going out with friends, that sort of thing.
Yeah. History, that's interesting. What kind of history do you read about? Or
Sikh 𝗖𝗛𝗥𝗦 I've
Right.
got into
Awesome.
very, very recently.
That's so good.
That's what takes up my time. Before, I used to do gliding again on the weekends, but with uni, that's very difficult to do, like managing finances, etc. So there's also we have to have part-time jobs, that sort of thing. So pretty much with a course, it takes up all of your time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. Go to the gym. I would say regularly, but maybe not so regularly.
That's fine. It happens. Especially when you're studying.
अगली बार पता लगेगा.
Yeah, it's all good. And Riji, what about yourself? What are you doing other than studying now, I guess?
Yeah, I feel like because exam period is approaching, that's the only thing I find myself doing. Just clinics, come home, study.
Yeah.
But if ever there's the free time, I tend to, I think with my wife, we go to play badminton. That's something that we've started doing just to keep fit, just to divert your mind. And of course, your physical health also very important, isn't it? Yeah. So, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ. But I've been very interested in painting and art. So I did GCSE art. Okay. And I really, really enjoyed that. That's something I really wish I could carry on now. So I think I need to invest more time into just getting into that habit again of painting and sketching and all of that stuff.
Well, what aspects of art do you like? So painting and sketching, but like what's your kind of medium, your most common medium? Like what do you like really connect with?
So I remember during GCSE art, just looking at various different artists and combining their work together. I remember my final piece for my GCSE, it was 10-hour exam. I don't know if you knew that, by the way. Yeah. So did you do art GCSE?
I did do art GCSE.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't very good. I do modern art, so I just basically just like draw a line on a piece of paper.
Okay.
Done.
No, so clap
yeah, that's exactly.
I'll show you mine later, but mine was like a combination of different art forms in one piece. I think my final piece was called Food for Thought. So with that, I incorporated my passion for music. So I made guitars out of like pears. I'll show you. I know it sounds a bit So I'll show you a picture later. Awesome. I had like made a guitar out of pears. And
as in, you mean like a guitar? You drew a guitar in the shape of a pear, as well.
In shape.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
I thought it was going to be a physical.
No. As in, I painted a picture of a pear and a pear with strings and stuff, shaped it into a guitar.
I made a swan out of an apple. And that video is still on Facebook from 2012. and I'm holding that like swan with that's made out of an apple. I'm like, swan.
So
okay,
it's so easy to find. It's the show on my
face. We haven't seen it.
I'll show you.
I've seen it. And I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know the beige of the apple? I use it as the eyes. So I stuck him on the eyes.
What year was this?
Year 8.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Early on.
Fair enough.
That's interesting. We've got sculpturing and we've got
so that's something I really want to get back into. I think I'd love that.
Sculpting. Sorry,
sculpting.
Sculpting. Sorry,
sculpting.
That's my English coming through. But that's awesome. Okay, cool. So, but I guess like from an art perspective, obviously music is obviously a form of art, right? So I guess you can probably find your release in that sense. Bringing it over to the music conversation now. So. Obviously you guys met when you were around 12 years old. You met at camps, you were doing Kirtan. Gursharan saying you from a tabla perspective, obviously you learnt in India through those ustads that you had there. What was that journey like when you got here then? I'm assuming you then studied more with another ustad or ustads. What does that look like?
Because of our sort of transitions from one city to another, it was quite disruptive. But in Bradford, because we were there for 2 years straight, I did have an ustad who taught at the Gurdwara that my dad was a Granthi at and we lived at. Unfortunately, it's been a very long time, so I can't remember their name. But yeah, I learnt 2 years there. And then I learnt from a doctor in Stoke, Dr. Amrik Singh. And yeah, he taught me for a couple of years again. After that, I wasn't able to commit to actual classes, so ever since I haven't really been learning, but I think it is something that I do want to look into just to make sure that I have that sort of discipline in playing.
Interesting. So you're not learning directly off anybody, but then what's your riyaz look like? Like, do you go to certain sources like online? Like, how do you like get more content, I guess, in that sense, and more understanding?
One of the things that really helps in generally, even with singing or learning an instrument or playing tabla, is listening to a lot of the music that you sort of look up to, and eventually you listen so much that you start to try and play it,
emulate that sound.
Exactly. And I think my learning had brought me up to a point where I could listen to something and sort of figure it out, and that's what I've been doing since. I'll just hear something that I really like, whether it's a qaida or even a small tukra, and we'll just get the recording, we'll just play it again and again, and then play it on stage eventually. Even some of the stuff I've played today is from videos that I've seen. Like Mani Bhardwaj, he was in the UK very recently, and he had posted a video whilst he was here, and I loved what he played so much. I just listened to it again and again until I could do it.
Wow. Yeah, that's impressive though, isn't it? I guess like obviously not having a teacher to teach you directly, but actually having the passion and the dedication to just sit down, listen, and then just try and emulate it is quite impressive. Viji, what about yourselves? Like obviously, so you did you learn it in India at all before you came to the UK or?
No, so we actually didn't learn anything in India. We weren't into Kirtan.
Right.
But I do have a very faint memory of me being, I think very, very little, me singing Atarna at Gurdwara near my Pua's house.
Yeah.
So that's the earliest memory of me being on a stage. I think I sang Takya mein babar de darbar ek mastana jogi. So that's I was saying, and minu agge 10 rupees hoye si. I think mum took it. Yeah, I remember that.
Mum and dad took it.
Yeah. So
stage the beda chuckly.
So yeah, and then I think it was in the family, but from like our bachpan na.
Yeah.
They us to baad would go to our nanke and my masiyan, they had a vaja. And we would see dad play that vaja, and slowly we just built up an interest. And then we came to the UK because we had nothing else to do. We couldn't speak the language and stuff. The only thing we could do was just go to the gurdwaras on Sundays, where my dad was the head granthi at.
Yeah.
So he would do the final ardas on the Sunday. He would quickly drive down and pick us up and take us to the Kirtan class. And at that time, Professor Amar Singh Ji was teaching at that Gurdwara. So the foundation of our Kirtan is probably been laid back then. I think udon to hi fir ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਿਵੇਂ how to read like notations and difference between komal and tivar and all of those different notes and stuff.
Right.
So the core fundamentals of music we learned from there. But then, as Gagan mentioned, holi holi, sona ke, because of course then we had GCSEs, A levels, and you know how it gets. Professional life gets in the way, and it's difficult to commit your time to learning Kirtan. So predominantly it's just been listening that we've just developed.
You haven't really had, like, I guess in that sense, like an official start really, like, because you learnt the basics at that Gurdwara when you were younger.
Yeah.
But then since then it's just been similar to you Viji, as well. Like you listen to something and then you just try and pick it up because you understand the basics. I guess you can only do that if you understand the fundamentals, right?
Exactly.
Sorry, Viji.
Yeah, I was going to say we listened to a lot of similar Kirtan, especially when we had started. It was a lot of by Satvinder Singh and Harvinder Singh
Ji,
and so the tabla player Goldie was somebody that I would look up to, and the Kirtan they would look up to. And so very earlier on we had actually started singing their shabads amongst ourselves and then also on stage. But we loved that Kirtan a lot.
Yeah.
And what about yourself, Viji? Then obviously, is it the same kind of thing with Bhai Harmanpreet Singh as well?
Yeah, similar sort of again journey, because under the same roof. So anything he'd listen to or go through, it'd be the same thing for me. Again, the earliest memory I have of anything musical is me performing at my school, maybe in India.
Okay.
And it's not because I had interest in singing for years and years. It's just that the opportunity came by one day. And Mom just pushed me to do it, and I sang Khoon di holi kade ni bhulni jalyan wale baag di. So it was like a proper dharmic song. I was standing there like mic this side, and I remember I got a tiffin as a prize for that.
Jeez. Wow, standing ovation for all the students.
So I got like I think second place or something. So
that's something your mum and dad can pick up.
So I got to keep the tiffin, thankfully. But yeah, and then seeing dad also just jam on the vaja every now and then. Remember we went to Nanke and my masi had a vaja, so she was into Kirtan, and my dad picked up that vaja one day and he started singing this really beautiful shabad, and I remember that really stuck with me. So these sort of couple of memories I remember, but we didn't like put any time into it. No sort of dedication, didn't have any intention of doing so. But when we came here and we realized we need to occupy ourselves, the neighbors are different, your classmates are different, you don't know anyone here, so you need to find an activity through which you can, you don't just find people on streets like that, so you have to find some sort of activity, hobby to get into, and then make friends through that way. So then that's when that kind of like forced us to learn Kirtan, learn music, get more into what tal is, tal mel is, sor, jade raag hunde, and just, it just kept getting deeper and deeper. And quite grateful that just having that sort of interest in the first place and linking that to how we have met so many people through it's been a very big advantage.
So when was the first time, I guess, the Jatha officially formulated? Like, at what point was, like, do you remember your first?
That's difficult to point.
That's
out.
very
together.
Someone brought him to him.
Literally,
That's it. That was the inauguration. that was that initial spark.
On stage, it was actually SNA that actually gave us a platform for a very long time.
I think it was SNA.
I think we're very grateful for that opportunity, because in the camp days you'd have obviously the Sangat over as well as the student in the camp itself.
Yeah.
So you'd have a lot of parents, a lot of the Sangat, and eventually the Sangat started listening to us and then actually calling us out for programs after that. So I think camp was where we really took off.
Yeah, and we got to go to Europe and stuff like that, which we'll discuss in a little bit.
Amazing. Okay.
But that was quite fun. Yeah.
What is the source of most inspiration that you get? Like, which Kirtanis do you get most inspiration from?
You mentioned doing Razi in your own time. Hands up, I don't think I've done that regularly with consistency. But what I can definitely say is I've listened a lot. And any sort of free opportunity I'd get, whether it's getting the bus to sixth form, washing dishes, cleaning up, I'd just put something in the background and listen to it. I've listened to hours and hours whilst revising for exams, revising for anything you can imagine, interviews, assignments. I've put my good ear to anything that I could listen to, and that's really helped. They say 60% of your learning is through your listening. And does it learning through your listening? I said that right? Yeah, okay, fine.
It's fine.
Okay,
we're just saying.
Yeah, anyways, I thought
we get the point.
60% of your listening is through your listening, but 60% of your learning is through listening. And so listen to hours and hours of the same thing. I wouldn't even change the tracks. I'd listen to, let's say, Rajan Sajan Mishra do Rag Darbari for 45 minutes, and I'd have that on a loop. And
so it wasn't necessarily Kirtan. You were actually listening to like a bit of everything, right?
It was a bit of everything. So you can imagine Shastri Sangeet, Ghazals, Qawwali again. Right. Really fond of Qawwali, and see how all of that can eventually lead to more knowledge in terms of music, and how that can be used for Kirtan as well. So it's like a mutual relationship that you can form between the different music styles that has really helped with the skill.
I assume that's obviously focusing on rags then as well, because obviously you get a lot of the musical knowledge from different rags, I guess, don't you?
In terms of rags, whenever there was a new name of a rag brought up, like Sorat, Kannada, I would not have any idea what Kannada is. So straight up, go on YouTube, go on any sort of Google website, what is Kannada? Hear a bandish in it, learn the aros, avros, and then just through that, being able to then learn shabads in those rags. It's just second nature to now, let's say, listen to some sort of bandish and quickly spot what rag it is. That was, again, all through listening. It wasn't taught to us. It was just the long way around was just to listen to it for ages and ages and do some background research. Amazing.
And what about yourself? I remember you saying, what would you listen to then?
So I listen a bit of everything, actually. Mainly classical Kirtan. I think that's one of the things I've been really listening to. I've been listening to a lot of Manbir Singh Ji's recordings.
Manbir Singh Australia.
Manbir Singh Australia.
Shout out to Manbir Singh.
So he's doing amazing work. You must know about Gurbani Sangeet Vidyalaya.
GSV.
GSV. Yeah. So I think what he's doing is it's literally, there's no words to describe how much he's doing, and the great work he's doing is just incredible. So I think that's you asked earlier about an inspiration. So currently I'd say he's a big inspiration to me. Just like the clarity of thoughts he has, the way he's bringing out the Pratan Bandisha that might not be very accessible to someone like us who are very keen to learn. पर उन्होंने पता नहीं भी केड़ी जगह ते जाके ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖਣੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਲੱਭਣੀਆਂ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਨੇ, or we might not have the means of securing books ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ compositions ਵਗੈਰਾ ਲਿਖੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਨੇ, notations ਲਿਖੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਨੇ, but his platform is offering very detailed videos on how to pick up those bandishan, rag da chalan ki hunda hai. So all of that stuff is just very inspiring and just makes me more curious.
So you're subscribed to the GSV platform, and then that's essentially your source of learning now?
Basically, yeah. So I recommend everyone who asks us about how do we get into Kirtan? The first thing now I just tell them is to start listening as soon as you can, and also if you can just buy a subscription of GSV, because they have videos from the beginner level to the advanced level as well. So I think it's a very great starting point. But of course, other Kirtani have been a source of inspiration. I mentioned Dr. Gurinder Singh Ji Batalewale earlier. He's the one who's basically initiated this passion for classical Kirtan. But then Satwinder Singh Ji, Harvinder Singh Ji, their Kirtan is one of the galina rase pe ne ga ga ke. Harcharan Singh Ji Khalsa Ji, we listen to a lot of their Kirtan. Puratan Kirtaniye Bandishan as well, Bhai Suman Singh Ji, Bakshi Singh Ji. So all of these amazing, wonderful Kirtaniye. I think there is a lot of content out there. So I think it's just an amalgamation of everyone, really, instead of just one person being an inspiration. But yeah, that's what I've been listening to.
And Gursharan Singh, what about yourself? What do you listen to?
So it's very similar. I actually, even though I was into the tabla a lot more, I never really listened to tabla solos. That was never my thing. So it's quite a weird one, but I just didn't enjoy listening to it. So my source of sort of learning, even for tabla, was just kirtan and classical recordings, and again thumris and ghazals. Because I guess I think this speaks for all of us. Our love is for general music overall. So we really appreciate, for example, these guys really appreciate good tabla, and likewise I appreciate a lot of good singing. So that's why our source of learning was just overall music rather than specific things. And it's helped us develop that understanding for each other's instruments as well. So we have that talmel. That's a lot of the feedback that we get. Is that people can tell that actually we're on the same sort of bandwidth when we're doing kirtan.
Just adding on to that, actually. So going back to your question about inspiration, I think I forgot to mention, but I think together, ਅਸੀਂ ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਆਪਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਬੜੀ inspiration ਹੈ. I get a lot of inspiration from Sukhman, from Gagan. He's doing great work with his singing. He's got an absolutely amazing voice. Hearing Sukhman sing, and I learned so much from him as well. So the technicalities, sometimes ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ. And then I look up to these guys and just sit with them. Yesterday night we were like sitting and I couldn't get this one thing. And I was getting so annoyed, but it's just like they had the patience to actually teach me, and I probably still messed it up.
We'll find out on the album.
I think it's just the inspiration just from each other. I think we've never really said that to each other actually, because we send each other a lot of stuff. If we find something nice on YouTube, that we just share it with each other. And I think just sharing that and then being able to bounce off from each other, and ek duje di jehde skills hege ne, there's things that Sukhman's good at, there's things that Gagan's good at, so I just look and draw the inspiration from that. As a Jatha together, I think ਆਪਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿੱਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ.
Do you sing Kirtan as well, Gagan Singh, or like?
Usually not on stage or anything, but in terms of singing, when we're doing our own jam sort of thing. Then,
so not yet, but eventually. So maybe album number 3 will get you a vocal microphone. I ain't gonna play tabla.
Sukhman will be on tabla.
He'll play tabla.
He plays great tabla.
Jawan Singh, if he's there.
Shout out to Jawan Singh actually, because he joined us on this album that around this podcast release. So amazing Dilho Muhabat.
Great guy, man.
100%. So what would you like to learn, what would you like to learn, or what are you learning right now to like hone in your skills or like progress?
Sure. I mean, quite a vague question. Do you mean music style or instruments?
So like, well actually it's a good question. Further to your question, I guess, is let's say from a musical perspective, but then I'll probably also ask the question in terms of instruments as well.
Okay, music. In the sense that, so just listening to a lot of music, I've been exposed to different styles of sangeet as well. So khayal gaiki, for example, I find probably the most difficult. And I've listened to a lot of khayal gaiki, so it's literally in the name. And khayal gaiki is essentially you're singing as the thoughts come through, right? Khayal is thought, some sort of notion, basically. And it's really tough because you end up knowing the core rag, but you don't prepare for it. So you sit down and as it comes through, you're singing it, right? You know how with, for example, Kirtan, we have a set tune and we end up singing Asthai Antara, and there's a structure to it. Whereas Khayal Gaiki, jide marji kone to aaje, you'll never know. So and being able to channel that through your voice is very tough, but I think I'd aspire to look into that maybe. But just generally focusing on like stabilizing my voice, something as general as that can be very useful. I remember what was really eye-opening was Mukul Kulkarni ji from where is he from again? Ahmedabad?
Not entirely sure. I forget.
They had a masterclass
Sure.
in Milton Keynes.
Milton Keynes it was.
First, and me and Herman went to that masterclass, and it was the first ever time we were going to a masterclass like that. The first ever. That was back in 2017, around August time. And we sat down, and they were not even doing a bandish. They weren't even teaching a tune. They were simply just singing sargama. Sa-re-ga-ma pa-da-ni sa-za-ni da-pa ma-ga-re-sa. But they were doing that without any vajja. All the students around him were sitting without any instrument.
Right.
And then they would, obviously, because they would make every single person sing in front of everyone. So when it came to me singing, I was like, okay, it's only sa-re-ga-ma-pa, surely it's not difficult to sing. But before that point, I should have known that I have always been singing with the vajja and relying on it. Therefore, my vajja is carrying my voice. I'm not carrying the vajja. So when I sang in the moment, even something as simple as sa-re-ga-ma-pa, I messed up. Right? So that was really eye-opening in the sense that these frequencies of sa to ni, you need to actually know them, and you need to get to learn them individually. And I think that was, again, a big eye-opener. And then I spent time doing alankars and just really basic training, but something that should be done, like, throughout your music sort of journey. And I would again continue to aspire to work on my voice rather than a certain aspect of music. But as long as the stability is there, then I think you can pick on many different.
Actually, on that point of voice, I did have a question from the Sangat when I put out the post on Instagram, and this is a bit of an interesting one. Shout out to the Singh, you know who you are. But basically, the question was, do you eat pickles before you do Kirtan? The reason why he's asking this, and I did inquire, was because when they have a prasad at the Gurdwara Sahib and then they go back into Sangat to sing, they can't sing because their voice is gone.
I don't.
So is there anything? So I guess the question is dietary specific. Do you eat anything or consume anything before you sing?
I think it's just all in my opinion, just a placebo effect, because I have had a lot of Coke before going on stage.
Right.
Ice cream before
as
going
in
on
that's
stage.
Coca-Cola. Just family friendly show.
Pepsi. Okay. Yeah, I've had fizzy drinks. I've had stuff that you shouldn't be having before singing.
Right.
And it's not had any sort of effect that I haven't noticed. But one thing that we did realize when we went to Ireland was,
oh my god, I know exactly what you're going to say.
ਅਸੀਂ ਆਇਰਲੈਂਡ ਗਏ ਇੱਕ ਰਾਤ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸਵੇਰ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਸੀ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਉੱਠੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਭੁੱਖ ਬੜੀ ਲੱਗੀ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਚਲੋ ਸਟੇਜ ਤੇ ਬਹਿਣ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ you guys should eat.
Right.
ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਵੀ ਆਲੂ ਦੇ ਪਰੌਂਠੇ, ਮੂਲੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਪਰੌਂਠੇ ਭਾਜੀ.
Oh god.
Any pronti you can imagine, they had them ready. Right?
Oh my god.
So we sat down and they extended the whole program because apparently we were eating. So we took our time eating.
How much would we have eaten that they had to extend the program?
So I had so many pronte. I don't know for what reason. But poko bolo gi huni time and lagda ine khale hone. And then as soon as we got on stage, fir saaj nahi aanda. Because you're so bloated, you're so bloated, you can't
God is
breathe.
not coming out in it. Like,
Yeah, so I remember that being horrible.
Yeah.
So the only sort of precaution I do take before going on stage is not to overeat, not to have too much pakode or samosa or spring rolls.
Right.
But anything like cha or like, for example, katta saman ho gaya, thanda saman ho gaya, I don't actually believe in that.
Interesting.
But I just don't like to eat too much before singing. That's the only sort of...
Is that the same for you, Harmanpreet Singh, as well? Like,
Yeah, I can agree. The thing is, it boils down to how much riyaz you've done and thoda gala kinna pakkya hoya hai gaiki vich. I remember one of the Punjabi singers came to our house, Lakwinder Jolly.
Yeah, I was about to mention, yeah.
Yeah, so he came and we asked him a similar question actually. How do you maintain your voice? And he said the same thing. He's like, depend. Of course, you have to take into account, like, there are external factors like eating, as you mentioned. You get bloated and you can't breathe properly, and it's difficult to sing and all of that. It does so factor in, है ना? But he did say कि ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਰਿਆਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਨਾ, ਬੜਾ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਦਾ ਰਿਆਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਇੰਨੀਆਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ. So essentially, basically, if you've mastered the technique of doing riyaz and you've been continuously doing it and you're so consistent with it, all of these things shouldn't add on. But of course, I personally don't do that much.
That's why we don't know about it.
Yeah, so I don't do that much riyaz. I try not to eat before going on stage. And because I then struggle to sing, so I try to avoid it at least 2 hours. And of course, fizzy drinks and all of that stuff, it just does add on to it.
But anyways, I love achar, so I don't think I'll stop eating.
Fair enough. Okay. Well,
Yeah, but
talking about it is before stage.
yeah, I know Kirtaniye who have like a sachet of black peppers or green chilies.
Green chilies?
Yes, and what they would do is they'd eat that before going on stage. Yeah, I can think of 2 people.
Are we allowed to name names? Oh, okay, probably shouldn't name names. But I'm just curious. Like, well, you can tell me off camera.
Tell you off camera.
just
But
curious,
they're
yeah.
really great
Wow.
Kirtaniye, and they just have that, before going on a stage.
And they do that because of the gala.
Because of their gullah. Apparently, it helps open up the gullah. I need to read more into the science side of things
Interesting.
to see what happens exactly. But that's what I've heard. But achar, I don't know.
Fair enough.
Adrak wali cha hoye paji, that
Jyoti,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
adrak,
We
yeah.
could do
I
that
think a lot of people say
after
honey
this.
and lemon as well, right? Like
Honey and lemon.
cha after this.
yeah.
Yeah, honey and lemon's great. Loki mishri भी आम तौर पे use करते हैं.
Yeah,
Mishri
you see
ਹੁੰਦੀ
that a
है.
lot on stages.
Yeah,
no?
mishri.
Yeah.
Kanta Sudarak, there's also this really dodgy sort of little black medicine that
It looks like a black pepper.
Right, but
But it's
Right.
not black pepper. India to
okay.
se leke aande si.
what is that then?
It's just it's literally the name of it is Kanta Sudharak Vati.
Right.
It just literally just means fixing up your throat.
Fair enough, literally.
But they say it in a
Literally-
different language, so
Yeah.
it sounds like it works.
It's like
So-
Chyawanprash, right?
Yeah, it's on the label, bro,
Chyawanprash.
innit? It's
Yeah.
fine. It's literally
Yeah.
that's what it says on
That's
the tin.
definitely a dietary recommendation. Chyawanprash.
Have you ever read the ingredients for Chyawanprash, by the way?
Nah.
I-
What is
what do you
Java?
do with
Oh my
Chyawanprash?
God.
What is
Oh
that?
my god! So think of like every herbal plant
That you've never
ever.
heard of, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, you would never
You'd
heard
never
of
be
it.
able to name them. They're all very like specific scientific names,
Right,
and
right.
so all of these are mashed together into a paste, which almost looks like tar. It's like crude oil almost, right?
Yeah,
But
it's
it
like
look-
grease.
Yeah,
Right.
it,
It's like
it looks
black grease.
awful, but it tastes great and it's really good for you. And so we bought it recently from India. We used to have it when we were in India,
Right.
and you're just supposed to have like a spoon of it.
Well, what's it
in a
actually
day.
for though? Like, what's the
Your immune
application?
system, it just
Alright.
keeps you really well.
It's
It's
it's actually very popular in India. Very
We were like, let's find out what's actually in this. So we look at the back of the
Ingredient list.
jar itself, and we couldn't recognize or even say a single thing on the ingredients because they had written the ingredients in Hindi as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we already can't name these jari bootiyan, but
Yeah.
like then again, they're in Hindi, so we couldn't recognize a single ingredient. We had to search it up, and it always came up with some sort of herbal plant.
Some sort of, yeah.
And this list goes on. It's so
Wow,
long.
I'm
So this-
intrigued.
Yeah, some sort of leaf that
Honestly,
you've never
that's-
seen, like such an obscene.
I've
sort
been
of herb.
recommending that to so many people now. I think we should set up a shop.
100%.
Saying Chyawanprash.
Kirtan Fi Chyawanprash sponsor.
Yeah, we could certainly look at that. So we talked about what you're trying to work on. So you're working on your vocals at the moment, right? And VG, what about yourself? What are you working on at the moment?
I think what I need to work on is learning how to do riyaz properly and sit for riyaz. That's something that's very difficult to understand and learn, because when you sit for riyaz, most people would just want to practice a bandish or go straight into the nitty-gritty of things. But I think before that, doing palte,
warming up, right?
yeah,
Sorry.
warming up and realizing where you're going wrong. Or I want to learn that basically, just how to sit down for riyaz. That's just a general thing. But in terms of Gurmat Sangeet, I really want to learn Vilambit Bandisha, and I will be more comfortable with Drupad and Tamar, which is different types of Gurmat Sangeet, different styles, Shailiyan hondiyan ne Sangeet diyan. So I want to be more comfortable and learn compositions in those, and being able to sing Vilambit, which is really slow, lay ban ke kivein gana hai. So that's one thing I'm really interested in.
Interesting. And Gursharan Singh, from tabla perspective, like or I guess from vocal as well, like what are you working on at the moment?
So in terms of tabla, I'm trying to find time that I can just fix so I can actually sit down and like practice that.
And a pura.
We'll come on to that. We'll come on to
you put
that.
them on split, right?
So I think my hands are kind of cursed in that sense that a pura doesn't last underneath my hands for more than 2-3 months or whatever.
You're hitting
like,
it too hard probably then.
I don't know. I
Too
don't
gusky
think
or-
so. I have no idea what it is, but we've had pure like ripping at the worst like moments. In fact,
Yesterday, right?
honestly. So yeah, परसों मैं रियाज करने में कढ़िया, and then I was so gassed. I set myself up. I had already put the background music on my laptop.
Oh, he's ready to
I was
go.
getting into that
He's
vibe.
getting-
Like a man like YouTube there, everything's sorted. Low lighting.
Oh, no,
That's it. And then pull out the tabla and it's in Haas. I'm like, yo, what tectonic plate movement is this? But it's happened.
Was there lava coming out in the middle of the thing?
Oh, gee, like, might as well have.
We can attach a
But-
picture of it. I've got a picture of it.
Really?
on my phone.
Okay.
I'll attach a picture of it.
क्योंकि साढ़े नाले पहला बहुत बारी हो चुका है, and it happens a lot. It happens so often. I just walked into Sukhman's room. We lived together, by the way,
Yeah.
at Loughborough University. And I walked in. I was like, Sukhman, मैं पागल होने लगा. I was like, I don't know, because at that point we kind of find it funny because it happens so often, but it's very,
Is
very
that not due to a
inconvenient.
temperature change though, right? It must be like, is it because you
So-
leave it too tight? You know.
No, so I've asked a lot of actually tabla makers themselves, or a lot of people that play tabla, and
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty much the same as they are.
Right.
And I
So,
just
so you
don't know.
basically, your hands are
That's-
just cursed.
I don't know. Actually, relates to that, we actually had a performance for Diwali in Stoke once. We were performing at this festival in Stoke,
Yep.
and we were doing, we were about to do riyaz the night before, right? And I pull out my tabla from the bag, and the poda's ripped. And we all look at each other like, oh my God, what are we actually going to do? And at that point, I didn't have another one either. And eventually, it was Paul Harman had to. This was years ago as well. This was like
remember what
20
happened?
I had to come back to Birmingham to get it.
On the
he
train.
took a train to Birmingham. I think in the morning, right? In the morning, he took a train very early on.
Wait,
So
why
pick
did I
up
do
a-
that? Why didn't you do it? Because it was you who was going to play the tabla.
But you know,
I think it's because you were the eldest, the most mature. We were quite young, so I don't think we had really travelled.
No,
on
I
our own
think
or
the
anything.
person who was getting
Who
the
did I
tabla
pick
from,
it up from? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not sure who we picked
the
it
person
up.
you were getting the tabla from, you knew them, so it made sense for you to go.
How I can't
I should remember
how old
who
we
I-
were at this
This
point.
was like 2017.
Oh, I think
GCSE times.
Must have
GCSE,
been
but
early
it could be actually. I think it's 2016 probably.
Fair, yeah,
It's,
16, 17.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, it's happened at the worst
Right,
moments,
right.
and poor Harman's obviously had to suffer for it.
On the day of the program. Oh my God.
Yeah, chalo koi na.
What about vocals? Are you working on something with vocals as well then?
Vocals, I don't really have a sort of riyaz or a specific type of practice. I will just listen over and over again, and if there are specific things that I really like but I can't do, then again it works the same way as tabla, to be honest. You just keep repeating.
Yeah.
And like fortunately at this point we are able to spot mistakes in each other, even in ourselves when we're singing or playing tabla where something's gone wrong, like we can tell, so we know at least where to improve or like what to do to make things right.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah.
So, Viji, you mentioned that you also do other instruments. So you play Dilho Muhabat as well?
Gee, I try to, but not consistent with it at all.
Right.
But I really like the sound of it in the sense that I've never played it on stage, and I don't think I have any intention to take it on stage or even in front of the camera. But I picked it up.
We'll see about that.
Picked it up about 4 or 5 years ago. Picked
Yeah.
it up randomly. I knew someone that was selling it for like £100 or something. Picked a really impulsive decision to just buy it. Brought it home and started playing it. And ever since then, I use it as a way to just zone out. Very therapeutic to just sit there for however long to just play whatever that comes by. With no intention to practice for anything. Like, I don't practice the Dilho Muhabat to perform on stage, so I can just sit there, even if I make endless mistakes. It's quite therapeutic and just it really helps me zone out from everything
Oh,
else.
that's lovely. It's like your way of like disconnecting from the world and just...
And it works really, really well. Again, tying it back to how music is like, a core belief in me, and how that can change quite a lot of things. Tabla is another thing that that I would love to actually learn.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Gagan probably knows. You know how he said he doesn't like listening to tabla solos? I do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's the one. He's the one listening to tabla
And
solos.
I used to, so tabla solos are very intense, so they're really loud and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's not mellow.
Yeah.
It's nothing like mellow. So I've listened to tabla solos whilst revising, and it's really weird because
What?
that's
It's his white noise.
It says, yeah, that's
Puts him to sleep
so
as well.
random.
like black noise, where it's so loud,
Brown noise.
but it's really satisfying at the same time.
Right, okay.
So through that, I was able to just pick up like many things.
Yeah.
So every now and then I just get my hand on my tabla, but it's nothing out there.
Yeah.
But I would love to actually take that further.
Oh, wonderful.
Mm.
And what about you, VG? So you obviously do Vajra. Do you
Yes.
play any Sajas as well?
So I have a sarod.
Oh, really?
But he's just sitting there in a corner.
Oh, come on, man.
I don't remember the last time I opened it.
Really?
Can we
How
make,
did
we
you even
need
end
to
up?
make him feel bad about this?
We
Yeah.
will make you feel bad. Don't worry about that.
I already
So,
feel-
so
no.
how do you have a
Guys,
sarod and not
you
play it
don't-
though? That's
you
such a
don't-
random instrument. No offense, but like
Yeah.
it's not something you hear that many people
Yeah,
have.
100%.
I
Like-
think I actually don't know why I'm so in love with the sound of sarod. I listen to a lot of solos. Sarod. There was a concert in London not long ago at the Nehru Centre. So that I was like, I have to go to this. So I went and attended it. What I mean is, I am still very passionate about it, but I don't think I've got the what's the word I'm looking for? I haven't got the commitment from myself to sit down and pick it up and actually invest time and effort into learning it. I've played it like edai basic. I just liked plucked instruments
Yeah.
like a rabab or a sarod. And, they're very difficult instruments to learn anyway. But that's one instrument I would definitely want to learn more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apart from that, no other instruments really.
Oh,
Just
interesting.
Vajra. Yeah,
Yeah.
boring is just boring
No,
Vajra.
it's not boring. It's still nice. It's still
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like obviously there is a massive resurgence for Tanti Saj now, as everyone knows. But like,
Of course,
you know, it's still. I don't know. I don't think you'll see a phase out of the Vajra that quickly. Like, you know, obviously, you know, Darbar Sahib are gonna start
Yeah,
bringing back more
yeah.
Tanti Saj, but
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's like entwined in like, you know, certainly our generation and the generation before.
It's definitely a very, very important tool for
Yeah,
a
for
beginner. You need to, if you won't be able to just learn unless you're gifted naturally. You can't just learn a stringed instrument if you don't know how to play the Vajra. You don't know the difference between the notes and stuff. So you need to be able to play the Vajra to some
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah.
I think in order once you've gotten the basic knowledge and understanding of notes and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
then it's a slightly bit easier to pick up a stringed instrument as well.
Yeah.
He's hiding the fact that he's got a tumbi at home.
He's got a Dumbi as well.
whoa.
Harman has two tumbia actually.
He's
at
got two
home.
Dumbia?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
gonna play it.
So,
Oh my God.
so my wife bought them from India, I think, on one of her trips. So
Right.
she got two. I don't know why.
And you play that one for each of you, is it?
No, the thing is, I don't play.
Jugabandi.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, no, we just play for fun, right?
Yeah.
But that's one thing I think I have a complaint of to myself कि मैं ज़्यादा वो चीज़ें डबल ध्यान नहीं देता. But that's for me to work on and develop.
Yeah, I mean, you're at a busy stage of life anyway, right? So, I mean, you're still studying, you're
Yeah.
going to get through your course. And then once you get into the rigmarole of like, you know, just the rhythm of like your working life, then I'm sure,
Hanji.
you know, Gudi ke pal on.
If you make the next Kirtan Fi recording, you know, necessity to play string instruments, then he'll have to learn it.
So-
Well, you probably
Sign
have
a
until what,
contract.
2025 now? I think?
Yeah,
So, you should be
We have
fine.
no years recording until then.
Yeah, you've got a huge backlog of.
I do have a
content
huge backlog, yes. That is definitely a problem, but chalo.
Anyways.
Let's talk about you. We're talking about you guys here, not me. Moving on swiftly. Gagan Singh, what other things are you playing? Like, so you play tabla, you do vocals. Is there anything else that you're also learning or like you want to learn?
No, just with my vocals, I play a little bit of guitar.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that takes quite a lot of time to learn stuff on. It's
Yeah.
quite a difficult thing to play. Most of the time, I'm just sort of strumming on it, just figuring out chords to songs and ghazals and stuff like that. Other than that, it's I guess at the moment it's only the tabla and the guitar for me, which is my focus because I don't want to spread my time out too much into other things.
Yeah.
I'm barely managing to fit any sort of rehearsal time in for those, but I guess
Yeah.
prioritizing. I guess moving up the instruments in my priority sort of list is probably what I would be working on, so I can put more time into it.
Awesome. So you guys have obviously, you know, been a Jatha for what, maybe 10,
11 years,
11 years,
12
11 years.
yeah.
So you must have been up to some funny shenanigans, right? You must have had some interesting experience.
Oh.
Like, do you guys play pranks on each
where
other?
do we start
Like,
with this?
Definitely, definitely. I think
Who wants
the
to go?
first one that actually comes to mind is we were doing a kirtan abroad somewhere. We were in.
Don't want to name any
Don't want to be
places.
name dropping exactly. Anyway, we were at this Singh's accommodation because the morning after is when our kirtan program was supposed to be.
Right.
But so yeah, we got there very late. Actually, yeah, we got there late with our flight, and actually that's the time that you forgot your
That's it.
handbag in
That's
the
it.
plane.
That's
Oh, you
took my handbag.
Oh my
How did
god!
that deal with
Eh,
her?
pata ki ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਆ ਗਏ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਆ ਗਏ ਹਾਂ like we're both holding our bags.
Yeah.
Villa bus ਜਿਵੇਂ ਟੌਰ ਨਾਲ.
And you know what
he's
the
like,
funny-
he looks at us. He's like, oh my god, where's my bag?
No. The funny thing is,
left on the plane.
no. The funny thing is,
What's the pen I'm going to get?
he's commenting everyone's bags, like, oh, complimenting them. Oh, kinna sona
Like,
bag
yeah.
hai.
Oh, I
Kya
see.
baat hai. And
Kinna sona
then
bag
he
hai.
has his hands like that, and there's me and Gagan with our bags. And ਦੂਜਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਬੈਗ ਨੂੰ ਵੇਖ ਕੇ ਕਹੀ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਵਾਹ ਜੀ ਵਾਹ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਬੈਗ ਹੈ and then he all of a sudden realizes where like he's forgotten his bag in the plane right
And I run like backwards.
You start running,
and then he
I'm
starts
pretty sure
running
Security, got you
security was
right.
running behind him like you can't go back that way of
my
course
God, yeah.
you can't
Especially
go,
running as well, like an airport at that point. That's raising attention.
that was
Which
that
airport
was
was this
funny
Paris.
Paris, oh my god, like you definitely don't. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. You're lucky they didn't pull guns out. on you.
So how did that conclude then? What happened?
So they said, don't worry, go to baggage claim apparently,
my
and it'll be
God.
there.
Okay.
And we
Basically
waited.
loads of our
We
time.
waited around
Yeah.
for ages and nothing came about.
Right.
And we found it somewhere in some like random corner, which is really
No, it wasn't around
And
the
the-
corner. The receptionist, the airline receptionist had it like all along.
all along. I see.
Whereas they'd sent us to collect it from the baggage reclaim. That's what
Okay,
it was.
yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, so right from there, we pretty much we went straight to the Gurdwara because our first program was
Yeah.
pretty much right then.
Yeah.
We were like shattered. Anyway, that was a late night. Like then we had to get up in the morning for an early program again.
Right.
And we were at the Singh's house sleeping. And in the morning, it's pretty much time to go. Like we're like, oh my god, wait, we don't know where this guy is. Like, what's
The
he
guy
up to? Like, we
that's
have
meant
to
to take us to the Gurdwara.
exactly.
Right, right.
Like, where's this Singh? Like, he's supposed to, take us to the Gurdwara. And now the time's approaching to our very, very close to
Yeah.
our,
I think it was about a 20-minute drive as well so we had to take that into account.
Exactly.
It's a
And-
Asadiwad program, so it's really
early
Yeah,
morning.
yeah.
And the other thing was we didn't have this Singh's direct contact either because the person who had booked us was different.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh my god, we don't want to be randomly walking around in his house, either like trying to look for him or whatever. He had his own family there, etc.
Right.
And eventually we kept waiting for a very long time and called the person who had actually arranged. And he then called this Singh. And turns
Who's in
out
the
the
same
Singh,
house.
exactly,
Same house, same house.
that Singh was like, he was knocked out. He was completely knocked
no.
out. Like 3 minutes later, he walks out, like opens our room. Warna's half off. He's just like trying to quickly put his clothes. He's like, oh my god. He's like, I'll be ready in like 5 minutes. We then leave and get there, and the committee and all the Prabandhaks are wondering like, why are you guys so late?
No. We get out of the house and we
Yeah.
forgot the tabla.
Oh,
and we forget the tabla
the tabla.
and we have to
Yeah.
go back
Yeah.
drive all the way
Yeah.
There
back
was a lot of forgetting and leaving things
So-
behind on this trip.
So I mean, we didn't get much further to be honest. Like before realizing we forgot the tabla. Anyway, we got there and the Prabandhaks are wondering why are you guys so late, and the Singh just drops everything on us.
and he's like they forgot the
He's
tabla
like, these guys forgot the tabla.
Oh no.
I think in the time that we were late, we could have done that journey like 3 times.
100%.
so that's something that really stands out to us I think
But the thing is, every time we've been on a program somewhere, we always meet a character, like an absolute character, and they always stick in our mind. Whether it's the kind of things they're saying, whether it's their talent or whatever.
100%.
Always. And we there's so much chatting to these like random people. That
Yeah, and we always gaslight it. We always just talk about random stuff with them just to get some sort of
Exactly.
conversation out of them. And went to Ireland. I think that was a really funny trip. That was a 23-hour trip, door to door.
Right.
So flight was
Yeah.
I think 5 that day, and then the return flight was like 4 the next day. So we went proper rushed sort of trip, and we get there. Really tired and stuff, but really liked the vibe there. The Granthi Gurdwara was really welcoming. But again, as Gagan mentioned, we just spoke about some random stuff. It is quite fun to just sit with a Baba one day and just, really just talk about some random stuff.
Exactly. And actually, on that, we were talking about earlier how we had stuffed ourselves with food. Well, these guys stuffed themselves with food before going on stage. The Prabandhaks on the Sangha there enjoyed our kirtan so much, and they thought that we did this full time. So they were like, "Please, ete relo." They were like, "We'll get you guys like
they're
a
like, "Do
fixed
this full
job
time."
here.
Wow.
Yeah, do it full time." We were like, "Oh my god, it's so
time.
funny."
Another one that stands out, I think, Denmark. So we went there to do Kirtan. Again, every time we've been somewhere to perform, it's been a very rushed sort of situation every time.
We try to fit in a lot in the given time.
Yeah, exactly, in the given time.
You want to like chill out, go out, and also do the program.
You want to do the program, socialize. You want to do all of that stuff in a very limited amount of time. We had a flight back to London. I think it was at 4 a.m. I remember Gagan just getting up and he forgets to cover the top of his head. So he doesn't really do a bunga.
Quickly
नहीं bunga दा कितना सीगा थल्ले पर केस की दा रंग वखरा सी थल्ले वाली केस की दा रंग
yeah, he didn't cover it.
तो मैं like no, I thought I had covered. I have no idea what had happened. उतना bag भी टूट गया. Like last minute we were trying to move out and my bag's broken, so they've given me another bag. Actually the moment we noticed was when we were at the airport.
Right.
Yeah, we got to the airport and then they look at my damala. They were like, that's a different color. We got a different color roof.
दो कलर आना तुम्हारा हो गया.
थोड़ा convertible सी है ना. खिंच के आया ना.
So there's been so many fun situations. It's been a really incredible journey with these two. It's been so good.
Do you guys go abroad quite often?
Used to, buddy.
Used to, yeah.
I think ever since COVID, things did quiet down.
Yeah.
Ever since that Asa Divar in the morning, things have kind of.
But we went to Ireland, actually. That's probably the only thing we've done since COVID. But again, we'd love to continue doing stuff like that.
But that's quite interesting.
We really enjoy it.
You're still really young and you're being asked to obviously go abroad to do Kirtan, huh?
There were talks last year for April. It was lucky time to go to Malaysia.
Oh, right.
But it's just, I think the availability of us lot didn't really work out well.
Is that something that you'd like to do more of? Like,
100%. Totally. I would love to travel with these two.
It's coming back to Sukhman's point from earlier. It's like the connection we then build with people is quite amazing because once we go, we don't just go for the Kirtan. We go there to build the connections with people, become good friends with them, and that way we actually end up traveling quite often and just becoming friends in a way that we just go to hang out. That's how it sort of started. With our first trip abroad was to Italy, right? I think.
Yeah, it was Italy.
We must have been 14. 14. My little brother was born at that time. Whilst we were in Italy,
that was the first
when
trip,
we were about 14. Wow. And then we became good friends with those people there for a while. Did a couple of trips. And through that, we then went to Switzerland as well, actually.
Yeah, we had a road trip, 2,000-kilometer road trip from Italy to some part of. We crossed the border to Switzerland,
and then back down again, and then back coast, down.
So we saw beaches, we saw mountains, we saw farms, we saw cities. So that was.
And then
really
the funniest thing is, obviously, we had this whole van full of our stuff. We got the tent, all of the patidle, because we're gonna we're gonna be doing our own cooking and all that stuff.
What you mean?
So this is
Sukhmanpreet doing all the cooking.
Yeah, excuse me.
Not back then. And to add to that, we made sure we had a tabla and a vaja in the van. So every time we would settle somewhere, there are so many funny videos of just us almost not camping on the side of the road, but we're just making food on a little a little place, and then we get the sarge out.
That's wicked, man.
So one of the days for that road trip, we camped next to Courmayeur. It was, I think it's a mountain between France and Italy. And we're there, so we settle down, tent laga hoya. First thing we make is kheer, right?
Nah, that was the dessert. It was a dessert.
So
we made pasta.
Pasta. So for dessert, we made kheer. Because do chai da shakkar chai thi chhod. So we made kheer and
everyone's so happy and
really
waiting
excited
to eat the kheer, right? Hear this.
Obviously, we brought flimsy plates with us, disposable plastics.
Oh no!
But he tent ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਬੈ ਕੇ ਪਾਇਆ kheer ਪਾਇਆ.
ਅਸੀਂ ਰਜਾਈਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ.
ਜਿਹੜਾ
ਸਟੋਵ ਆ ਉਹ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਲੇ ਦੁਆਲੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਨੇ, ਠੀਕ ਆ?
Like a proper cult.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, whilst the pasta was boiling, we had Bart on the background. It was all proper cult vibes. We were almost praying to the food. Chetti bana ja.
ਤੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਖੀਰ ਪਾਈ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਹਨਾ ਖੀਰ ਪਾਈ ਤੇ over the stove tried to hand it to Gagan with it. Kind of slipped out of his hand or whatever. And I think he held it from the, I don't know what he did, but because of how flimsy it was, वो सारे थल्ले.
That's like the worst thing.
And they were annoyed because then I was the first person to have it, and they were all so excited. जिन्हों दित्ती उन्हें डोलती.
जिन्ने को भी बच गई वो जहर हो गई सब. Yeah, there's a lot of funny stories from that sort of time.
So we, alongside Kirtan, of course, we try to make sure that we have a enjoyable time and chill and relax.
To be fair, even within the UK, we're always going around London, Midlands. We've been to Bristol a few times, but lately London's been like, our favourite because of Gurpreet Singh Anand, the Shepherds of Gurdwara. So that's been really, really exciting actually. They've called us us their Hajuri Jatha.
There's quite a few videos of you guys on the YouTube
channel. So that's been quite good recently. But again, it's about keeping the Jatha together. And it's been 11 years. There could have been many points where we split up. I went on placement and Gagan did. Harman went to Newcastle for a whole course. But despite that, we still came back and we still continue to do what we've always been doing.
That's amazing.
Just overcoming those barriers, just geographical locations and availabilities, exams and stuff like that. I think it's important that we try to, because there was a time, I'll be honest, there was a time where we actually didn't do any programs together, purely because of the factors I've just mentioned. That's something we're working on now, trying to break down those barriers, making sure we're seeing each other, sitting down before Kirtan programs to do riyaz and stuff, going through compositions and stuff. So that's something we're currently working on.
The biggest barrier is definitely getting there on time.
That's the biggest
issue. Me, you guys are late today, but that's fine. I'm not going to say anything. It's fine. That's true. I just say so. Bunch Shabbat in like 1.5 hours. We'll get it done. We still did it quite good actually. Just a really quick recap actually of what we actually did record today. So we recorded 6 Shabbats today. And so tell us a little bit more about that, and obviously the Sangat will be able to hear it.
So the first composition was in Rag Darbari Kannada, something that I heard from Sukhman only yesterday night. And
didn't need to bait that.
Really? Hopefully that's not reflected through the recording.
No, but it was something. See, as I mentioned earlier, we learn from each other, right? So this is composition that Sukhman we went through it briefly. Of course, again, it just boils down to finding that balance. And unfortunately, due to I have exams this week, next week I have a deadline. Due to all of these reasons, I wasn't able to sit down together properly. But Sukhman, yesterday we did spend some time. We would like to spend more time on it, like revising. Sorry, not revising. Riyazing.
Is that exam mode?
So just going over the compositions together. But that's what Sukhman taught me yesterday. So that's the first composition that we recorded today, which was a partal, where we changed the tals between antras. Then we sang a composition in Darbari Kannada as well, just ek tal vich. Then we did Jivan Jano Torak Shabad. That was we heard that from Satwinder Singh.
Very nostalgic sort of memory to that, because we were listening to that Shabad since we were kids. So we felt comfortable singing that quite a lot.
I remember going to Italy. So just going back to our Italy trip. We sang that Shabad a lot there. I remember there was a person, Gurpreet Singh Ji Baji, I don't know if you remember, now he lives in Nottingham. So I remember going to his house program in Italy, and he's like, could you 3 please sing this Shabad? So it's like, it was a Shabad that a lot of people asked us to sing again and again, which is why we thought it'll be a good idea to get that recorded.
Lovely.
Then Moko Tuna Bisar, we recorded that today. That's another composition that we've sang a lot. And a lot of people do enjoy it, and they can really connect with the Shabad as well. And we personally really enjoy singing that Shabad. It's a great composition. So we sang that. We sang Dilho Muhabat Say Sachya. We sang Hongwari Mukh Fer Pyare. Again, all these compositions we just heard from Satwinder Singh Ji, Harvinder Singh Ji, Baljeet Singh Ji, Ustad Baljeet Singh Ji Namdari, their compositions. So we just want to have a variety of compositions with a variety of tals and stuff.
It's a sort of reflection of the kind of Kirtan style we enjoy listening to and performing anyway. So 100%. It kind of sums it up. There's a bit of nostalgia and other classicals. So it covers all aspects of what we enjoy.
We always try to balance what we know really well and what we need to challenge ourselves with. So I think today was a good sort of reflection of that. We ended up doing compositions that we are really familiar with, that we've been doing for years and years, and some compositions that we haven't even touched in the past week. So it's also challenging ourselves at the same time, doing the stuff that we're comfortable with. It's a good balance that we always try to form.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's the Sangat Ji. You'll be able to go and listen to that album on all the platforms now. It's live right now. It's going to be thank you. I mean, Kirtan Fi is only with what the Kirtanis bring, right? So at the end of the day, I'm here for you. So Guru Ki Padanal, the album's live. And this is your debut album, so you've never been published before, and this is something I really wanted to work on more with Kirtani. So, Guru Di Kripa de Naal, Sangat Ji, go and listen to that album. So as we close now, I'd love to just get some words of wisdom from all of you individually. So what piece of advice would you give your younger self, if something that you know now that you wish you'd known when you were younger?
Me personally, initially got into Kirtan just for the sake of, let's say, learning shabads, a handful of tunes that I had already known, really famous tunes, and only learning them for the sake of it so that I can perform them on stage, make videos, etc. But I feel like if I was to restart or if I was to change anything, I don't think I would want to change anything, but if I was to make any sort of subtle change, it'd be the fact that I'd want to focus on the singing side from the start, so that the foundation of the vocals is laid out perfectly, and then build on top of that with compositions and whatever not. So that's probably the one thing that would change. And still advise anyone out there who wants to learn Kirtan, they probably like one or two bandisha on YouTube, and it's really good that they're inspired through Kirtan to learn Kirtan, but it's really important to actually learn the fundamentals of Kirtan and music in general to be able to then do those compositions. So try not to jump on those compositions for the sake of, let's say, doing them on stage. If anything, it's the slower process, which is the correct process, is to take your time with it, learn the basic fundamentals of Saregama hai kiya, Alankar keda, rag da form keda, and how to sing that rag properly. Tal mein learn that tal as well as that rag, right? You can sing, but you can't sing in beat. That's they're very two different things. So to be able to like really understand the shabad and then sing it, not just that one shabad, but music in general. So as soon as you get that sort of understanding, you're not then limited to those two compositions. You can then explore to whatever you want after that.
Yeah. So I think the main thing I'd want to change, if I didn't have to change, was to get an ustad and stick to one ustad. Then basically build up my foundations, my musical foundations, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ ਗੁਰਮਤਿ ਸੰਗੀਤ ਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, by getting ਤਾਲੀਮ directly from an ustad. Fair enough, we've said ਕਿ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਬੜਾ ਕੁਝ ਸਿੱਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦਾ, listening is good and stuff, but without an ustad, without a proper ustad, you won't be able to differentiate between rags as well. You can't say one rag from another rag unless you've been directly taught how to differentiate the rags, or how to keep one rag away from the other, because there's so many similarities and stuff. So us cheez vaste, I would definitely say getting an ustad is something that I wish I could do back then, because then also it gives you a better foundation, as I mentioned, but also more importantly, you're not you're figuring out what your mistakes are, and by the help of an ustad, right, they can tell you and direct you and point you in the right direction, whereas a YouTube video can never do that. So the feedback, you can only get that directly from an ustad. And if you don't have the feedback in first place, then unfortunately you have nothing to act upon, and you don't know, you won't be able to sort of measure your development within the musical journey. So us piche, just having an ustad is something that I really wish I did earlier on, and found that work-life balance. I know with GCSEs, A-level, universities and all of that stuff, commitment becomes an issue, finding a balance, work-life balance becomes an issue. But again, I feel like my time management could have been better, so that's something that I should have worked on.
Yeah, I think I really have to agree with what Harman's saying there, in terms of sticking to an ustad for a longer period of time, because you start to notice those things as you're performing, like trying to perform on stage. Later in the years, that's when I started to notice that actually I could be quite clean with my tabla playing in a lot of ways, and that does come from learning from an actual ustad, because usually when you're listening to something and sort of deciphering the balls and trying to do it, there are, for a lot of the things, there are multiple ways of playing the same sound, or what appears to be. And I often have to just sort of first wonder, actually, which one's the right way, which one's the cleaner way. And at that point, it's really hard to know, because when you're playing something, initially, you're going to be playing it very slowly as well. So you don't know what it's going to sound like once it's been developed. And developing that is actually going to take almost like a month or two of Raz. So you never know, okay, should I actually go through with this technique or this way of doing it? And that's where an ustad would be able to like point out, actually, in the long term, this is going to be a better idea of performing this this sound or this ball, because this eventually when you build the speed up, then it will sound much cleaner. So yeah, I do struggle with those things now, which I can definitely say to my younger self that I would have stuck to an ustad to try and clean those out.
Yeah, you just fall into bad habits, right? You just learn those habits, and it's difficult to rectify those when you've done it. When you've done it for so long, exactly. And when you've done it for so long, you don't know how to fix that. For example, like a tabla player, if they've learned it off YouTube or something, their posture might not be correct, or they're not sitting correctly. Even for Dilruba, if they're playing Dilruba, they might not be holding the bow correctly, but they can still play it. But the fundamentals are wrong, and an ustad is the only person who's going to correct you.
Perfect.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Excuse me.
Cut.
He's awake now.
Cut.
My group. Okay.
Yeah, you need to learn that. That'd be so good.
All right, guys, so let's do this.
All right.
I just got nervous.
Right. Nothing to be nervous about. We're just gonna be chatting. All right, cool.
It's gone.
So I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna say, okay, cool. This way, it'd just be easier.
We'll start with Harman.
So okay, start with Harman. Okay, so Harmanpreet Singh, tell us your journey of coming into this world.
मम्मी पापा ने बताया
Oh my god. Family friendly podcast, guys. Okay, cut.
Oh my god.
Cut.
I don't think he meant it in that way.
No, he didn't.
But it is gonna come across that way.
Someone said that actually on one of the podcasts. That's why I'm in the again.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think it was Jazzy B. Yeah, I was listening to
Great
the podcast.
example.
Okay.
I'm looking up to Jazzy again.
All right, reset.
I think the way you asked it, how did you come into this world?
Yeah,
Is that what you said?
ask that question.
Okay, do you mean like Kirtan world?
No. I mean
no.
literally just like,
It just means go
what's
with
your
your
childhood?
childhood.
So do you want to talk about we were born in India and moved
That's
here?
what I'm saying,
Yeah, 100%. Just do the same thing. Your bookworms. Oh, really? You're born in India? That kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. So where do I pick it up from? I'll pick it up from Sangat Ji's. Okay.